For years, the truth was hidden. People from other times, other worlds, heroes. But now we know. They're among us.
What does S.H.I.E.L.D. stand for, Agent Ward?
Strategic Homeland Intervention, Enforcement, and Logistics Division.
And what does that mean to you?
It means someone really wanted our initials to spell out S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm clearance level 6. I know that Agent Coulson was killed in action before the Battle of New York.
Welcome to level 7.
What is that?
That's a superhero, Agent Ward. We work the cases S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't classified. The strange, the unknown. It's not just spy versus spy anymore. The whole world's in on the action.
You're in danger.
What do you mean danger?
S.H.I.E.L.D.
I should carry a shield?
S.H.I.E.L.D. Government. Scary men in dark suits who come after guys like you.
Is that who I think it is?
She's just the pilot.
Melinda May is just the pilot. Fitzsimmons?
Fitz.
Simmons. I'm engineering. She's biochem.
It's not of this earth. We will rise against those who shield us from the truth. And nothing can stop us in the... Hey.
There are 2 ways we can do this.
Oh, it's one of them the easy way.
No.
Oh. I'm not exactly a team player.
We're not exactly a team, but we're in a position to do some good. I've seen giants. The good ones are not heroes because of what they have. It's what they do with it. We're not the only ones interested in people with powers. Only take the shot if you have to.
We have a couple of hours at most. There's no way that we could possibly...
Don't ever tell me there's no way. Don't touch Lola.
Hi everyone, welcome once again to Geekfest Rants. My name is Carlos Perron, and joining me today I have our contributor Zeke Springer. Say hi, Zeke.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, Carlos?
Good to hear from you once again. Today we are getting together to talk about one of the newest... this is a big step into the genre field as far as, an actual network is willing to commit. And I'm talking about ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, Zeke, give us a little background. Obviously, a lot of our listeners know what we're talking about here, but this is something that's coming from the Avengers, the very popular... Yes. It took a few films to actually reach the Avengers, but this is really a spin-off, if you will, of the movie.
This is all a culmination, as you know. S.H.I.E.L.D. has kind of showed up in all of the Marvel Studios productions since the first Iron Man movie. And they have now spun off the S.H.I.E.L.D. organization from the Avengers films with Agent Coulson, who seemed to be the linchpin from all the films, played by Clark Gregg. He seems to be the linchpin of this series and the spin-off character from the Avengers.
Right. And they're up front in kind of linking it to the last film, the Avengers film, because they're talking about, ever since the events of New York.
Yes.
So you kind of know where we're at here. We know exactly where we're at. And why don't you give us a little recap of what exactly takes place in this premiere? It's a pilot. I guess you can call it a pilot. It's a premiere episode.
Right. It was the pilot. It was more of a pilot than a premiere episode. So I guess ABC, signed off on it, give us pilot. And they signed off and they liked what it saw. Basically, the pilot deals with Agent Coulson putting together a team that deals with the weird things going on in the world since the Battle of New York, which we saw in the Avengers. His team that he puts together, they've got issues, each member, but then we'll see what's going on there. But the team is meant to deal with the weird and the superpowered that we're seeing now in this Marvel universe. And what we see is they're investigating the appearance of a man who saved a woman during a building explosion.
Correct.
And this character's name is Mike Peterson, and he's played by a Joss Whedon favorite, J. August Richards from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, if you remember.
We should all not be surprised that you're going to see a lot of faces that are going to be showing up over and over again from Joss Whedon.
Whedon has his favorites and go-to people that he likes, so you'll see more of them as this show goes on. And his character, Peterson, he appears to have super strength and invulnerability. And as we find out more, we find out that he is a factory worker who is injured on the job, and he's trying to raise his young son, and he's trying to find a new job.
Right.
But basically, by him saving a woman during this explosion, he kind of gets on the radar of an underground hacktivist named Sky. And she's played by a relative newcomer named Chloe Bennett.
Chloe Bennett, yep.
And she tries to encourage Peterson to reveal himself to the world as like the next big superhero. And he's not very sure about that. But S.H.I.E.L.D. wants to track him down and see what his deal is. Is he friend? Is he foe? What is he?
Right.
And there might be more nefarious organizations out there that might want to get their hands on him.
Exactly. You get this X-Men-y type of vibe, you know, people that want to stay hidden.
Yes.
You know, they have powers, but they're either not ready or not willing to bring them out there. In this particular character's case, yeah, you know, he's a guy who's in rough shape. He wants to stay on the straight and narrow. You know, he wants to do the good thing, the right thing for his child. But at the same time, you can feel all this pressure around him.
Exactly. And it looks like even though he's trying to stay hidden, his powers are increasing moment by moment. It turns out that he's powered by something we've seen before.
Yes, and that's something that's very interesting in this, especially, you know, when we start the show, already they're calling back to something we've seen on, what was it, Iron Man 3?
It was Iron Man 3. Basically, Peterson is powered by the Extremis nanotechnology that we saw in Iron Man 3, which I thought was pretty cool. That was a nice aha moment for me on the show.
Yeah, you start to make these connections. Now, granted, I'm sure Joss Whedon is going to pepper this thing with Easter eggs, but this was a big one. This was like, okay, now you can make that connection to say, all right, this is the world we're in right now.
Exactly. And since he's now powered with Extremis, could we see S.H.I.E.L.D. doing battle with the villain organization AIM? That would be kind of cool if that's the case.
Right, and that's something for comic book fans. You know, this is where comic book fans are going to be like, okay, here's a potential place where the things that maybe were not touched on movies, this is a place where we can start hitting those individual, areas.
Exactly. And pretty much the rest of the show deals with S.H.I.E.L.D. trying to track him down and trying to convince him to come in from out of the cold.
Right.
With varying levels of success.
Now, you get the feeling also that obviously this is a TV show, so they can't go too crazy with stars.
Right.
You know, Agent Coulson obviously works for Nick Fury. Now, something tells me sooner or later we're going to hear Nick Fury. We're going to see him, maybe a season finale.
Right.
He's going to be that thing that you're always going to be like, all right, let's have that now.
Because as we do know, Samuel L. Jackson is a working actor.
Oh, forget it. He'll come to a children's party if you want him to. If you can pay him the money, he'll do it. Exactly. So he's not shy about it. No, he's not shy about this. I could have swore I heard something, an interview maybe, that he was saying that maybe he can be like Charlie on Charlie's Angels. Every now and then, they'll just like put him on speakerphone and like, hey guys, how's it going?
That would be cool.
I'll take it. I'll take anything.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I'll take that. But what was cool is that they gave us Colby Smulders.
Yeah, so, okay, here's another little appetizer they give us. Okay, there's a connection right there. There's the movie.
But maybe now that How I Met Your Mother is ramping down, maybe once that show is over, Smulders will make the move to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
You never know.
That would be pretty nice.
You know, I don't know too much about the actress in terms of, I don't know if she's a big, like, is she trying to make the shift to movies?
Not
is she
really.
getting popular in movies?
She hasn't done a lot of movies while How I Met Your Mother has been on the air. So.
I think The Avengers was probably the biggest thing she's ever done.
It's definitely her biggest film. She was exotic girl in Walking Tall with The Rock.
Okay, all right. I see where we're going here.
So This would not be out of the realm of possibility.
I know. You also get the feeling that, again, because we're dealing with a television show here, and you can't have the Hulk appear every episode, you can't have Iron Man appear. But is it conceivable that, okay, Nick Fury is in charge of recruiting the big superheroes, and Agent Coulson is now in charge of kind of getting to the B-level superheroes?
Right.
Is that what we're going?
I think so, because Joss Whedon has kind of made it clear that even though he's going to do nice references and Easter eggs to the Marvel Universe, he pretty much made it clear that there wasn't going to be any A-list characters on this show. If he's going to do anything, it's going to be D-list characters or completely original characters for the show.
Now, I don't care what you say. Ron Glass is an A-level character.
Yes, Ron
it's like
Glass.
I saw his name. I'm like, holy crap! He's got him back. He's he's bringing back his Firefly people.
Yes, another Firefly guy.
It's like good. I want to see this guy. It's like he's still good. He still has it.
Yep, exactly.
Now let's talk a little bit about the agents, if you remember some of them, like their specialties, because they, it's a hosh-posh of a troubled agent, an expert in this, an expert in that, a team, that kind of thing. What do you remember about the agents?
Well, the first agent we see is Agent Grant Ward, played by Brett Dalton. He's also kind of a relative newcomer. He specializes in combat and espionage. And what's kind of cool is that when we first see him, he's on the hunt for some people who are dealing in Chitauri technology in France.
Oh, that's that pendant type of thing that they show you. Okay.
That he found. And if you remember, the Chitauri are the alien race that the Avengers fought in the Avengers. He's kind of interesting. So far, it looks like he might be like more of the big bruiser type,
Right. He's a little reluctant at first also. He's like, I don't know about this,
Right, which I didn't really buy it, though. I mean, here we are in a world where superheroes are revealed to be real. And he gets this mission of, okay, you need to escort this superpowered guy. And he's kind of like, oh, no, I defuse bombs. I punch people in the face. I don't do superhero escort. And I'm just
Is it conceivable that in this world that we're in right now, in this Marvel world, that even top-notch secret agents are not aware exactly of what S.H.I.E.L.D. does, and they're a little like, whoa, what's this about? I don't know if I'm into this.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm sure about that. I mean, if they had gone more of that route of like, ooh, I'm kind of scared with that, then fine with him. But the fact is like, what? That escorting superheroes is beneath me. And it's kind of like, I don't know about that. But he could be an interesting character going forward. Early part of the episode, he did seem pretty cool. Although I felt he kind of disappeared in the second half, I guess, to give...
Yeah, he's the sharpshooter, and then at the end he shows up again. Okay,
right,
I get
exactly. And then we've got Ming-Na Wen, which is always
She's
cool
like the mysterious agent,
the mysterious
with a
agent,
background.
Some kind of past that she doesn't deal with. She prefers working at a desk for some reason. We'll find out later. I like that. I like that mystery going on there.
And I mean, I assume in typical fashion, she's probably going to be the yin-yang to Grant Ward.
Yes.
Those two are going to be, mixing it up at some point.
I think so, too. I think so as well. And she's your pilot, your weapons specialist.
And you mentioned before, the character of Skye, she's kind of like our eyes inside S.H.I.E.L.D.
She is the superhero groupie / hacktivist.
Right. She's the blogger, and she studies all these weird phenomena type of stuff and government conspiracies.
They want to bring her in because of her knowledge of
She's scooping them. She's scooping all their stories.
She's scooping their stories. Exactly. They like her ability to hack.
Exactly.
So she could be interesting. And she was interesting. She was a strong character, and the actress pretty much handled that role pretty well.
Then you have the team, the quirky scientific team.
Yes, you've got Agents Fitz and Agent Simmons.
I get it.
Fitz, exactly. Fitz is the engineer, and Simmons is the biochemist.
Right,
and I like them, but I actually like Fitz better than Simmons. He seems stronger, but I think it was kind of weird, though, when he had sort of a slight Scottish accent in the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And then by the end of the show, he's got a full-on thick Scottish accent.
Okay.
Just like,
so she pulled a Kevin Costner.
Yes. It's like, you might want to tighten that up there. Come on. But they could be interesting, and I like the fact
Are they
that
brother and sister, or are they just...
No, it doesn't. It looks like they may have gone to school together.
Oh, okay,
but they were friends, and
they're definitely tight, but not romantic tight.
No,
they're kind of
no.
like they work together, and they need to work together,
right,
kind of thing.
Exactly. They work well off of each other. That was a kind of a cool concept there. I hope they give them more to do and maybe make Simmons a little stronger. But so far, so good.
Right, because right now we have these agents that are, there's nothing outstanding right now about them in terms of we're just introducing them. They're putting together, I guess, for the first time as a team. And I'm sure there's going to be, growing pains as usual with that sort of thing.
Right, exactly.
Now, let's talk about the big elephant in the room, and that is Agent Coulson.
Yes, Agent Coulson.
Obviously, the first question most fans were asking back over a year ago when they first announced that they were going to do this is, well, does this take place in the past? Because he's dead. How are you kind of going to, weave this into the timeline of whatever we're dealing with?
Yes. How is Agent Coulson alive?
Right. And off the bat, we're told through him that, he got hurt really bad. And then, they kind of faked his death to create, to kind of cheer them up and as a pep talk. And you kind of felt that Nick Fury was trying not to play them against each other, but kind of manipulate them a little bit, like a director.
Manipulate them into becoming more of a team and something to fight for.
Right. The same way a movie director might purposely anger an actor just to get the emotions to come out. He was trying to do that.
Right.
And Coulson is under the impression that, they fixed him up. He went to Tahiti to recover for a while. Then he came back and everything is okay. But then we get that's what he thinks.
Yes, exactly. When you have Maria Hill and the S.H.I.E.L.D. team doctor played by Ron Glass, as we said, basically the doctor asks, he doesn't know what really happened, does he? And Maria Hill says no, and he must never know.
There we go. So now they're basically laying the groundwork for the mythology of this particular show.
Exactly.
This is going to be one of these ongoing type of things that I guess.
How did he survive?
Yeah, there's going to be layers of this happened and that happened and this happened, but we're going to get it in little tiny bits probably.
Exactly. And I like that. That's a cool little mythology that they can have kind of ongoing through a couple of seasons, not through the entire series, but a couple of seasons of the show.
No, you're going to be pushing it way too much if they drag it on for year after year.
But here's the deal. If you know S.H.I.E.L.D. from the comic book, you know that S.H.I.E.L.D. loves using what they call life model decoys, which are basically clones.
Right.
They love dealing with those things. So,
well, let me ask you a question. Give me your opinion, or if you know something, spill the beans. Which way are they going to go with this? Are they going to follow? Because this is a similar conversation that I always have when I talked about The Walking Dead. Are we dealing with new stuff, or are we following the comic? Is this show going to be going back and forth? Are they creating their own rules here? Their own history, or are they going to tap into comic book stuff?
They could be. I'm leaning toward that they're going to do this whole life model decoy bit because it's such a big thing in the S.H.I.E.L.D. books. It was like every other issue, Nick Fury would get shot in the head and be like, "Oh no, that wasn't me. That was my life model decoy." So it's
there you go.
For me, I don't know about anyone else, but for me, it's too obvious. It's too obvious.
Yeah, there you go. Now, overall, how do you think the episode went in terms of they told a story, they introduced the character then, the person he saved ended up being one of the people responsible for what's happening to him.
Right. The woman Peterson saves actually happens to be the doctor who's part of this organization distributing extremists.
Now, she wasn't in Iron Man 3, was she?
No, she was not. She was not. We don't know how far the organization AIM went in Iron Man 3. So these could be remnants of that. It would be nice if they were AIM, but only time will tell. But I generally liked what I saw from the show. It was a pretty promising start. It was solid. It was a solid outing. There wasn't that oh, holy cow, what was that? Oh, that was so cool.
Right.
Holy crap, they did that. There wasn't a lot of that.
No, there wasn't a holy crap moment, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Now the character, again, this main character that we're introduced to now, by the end of the episode, he is losing control. He hurts some people at work.
Right.
They're trying to talk him down. Sky is coming back to him saying, listen, I talked to the S.H.I.E.L.D. people, I think they want to help you. So, and he's like, wait a minute, 1 minute you're telling me one thing, then you're telling me another thing.
Right.
And she can't even talk him down to the point where they have to, at one point you think, oh my God, they're going to kill this guy. But no, I guess they tranquilize him.
Yeah, they tranquilized him with basically a drug cocktail that counteracts the extremist technology in his system.
Right. And you get the impression by the end that he's not dead. They're kind of, I guess, working on him, trying to repair him, trying to fix him. And his son is brought to, it looks like some kind of home where they're like a foster home or something until hopefully they can cure him so he can get back together with his son. That's the impression I got. I hope it goes in that direction.
Yes, I did too. I got that impression, and maybe we will see this character again in the future.
Why not? I love that it was so cool when we first see some of his powers for the first time that he's digging his hands into the bricks.
Yes.
And like climbing in there. It's like, oh man, that's pretty cool. I like that.
That was a very cool effect and a very cool concept there.
You have to be careful with the show that obviously, Heroes was only on a couple years ago, so you have to make yourself look different than Heroes.
Yes, definitely, and I think one of the executive producers is Jeff Loeb. So,
oh wow!
So it's there might be some crossover there.
Yeah, I guess the only way to do that is to really lay it on thick with the Marvel mythology. That's going to be what differentiates this show from everything else.
Exactly, I agree. I totally agree.
Now, you mentioned before how you felt about the show, that it didn't really have a holy smokes kind of moment or anything. But the other thing to keep in mind is, who do you think this show is aimed at? I mean, I don't think this is kind of like a show like Lost where, or at least not now, where, yes, it's got a supernatural sci-fi edge to it, and it's wide enough of a show that it will attract complete non-genre people and suck them in. I don't get the vibe that this is that type of show.
Yeah, I don't either. It seems more, well, particularly this episode, it seemed more heavily on the espionage part of it and the investigations part of it, and, sort of like the CSI take on it. And not so much of, the super powered fanboy type deal. So that could be interesting.
Right. I mean, obviously you always hope that these type of shows, for the sake of the show, if you happen to like it, that it will attract people that are not genre people, so it becomes more popular. But right now I kind of see it as obviously the fanboys are going to love this. I know my son was like, okay, now I have Walking Dead and this show. That's his world right now. So it's okay, perfect. There's your demographic right there. But yeah, I think they're going to have to, we'll see what happens. This is a pilot. I'm sure they're still tweaking it. So how are they going to expand on this show? How are they going to make it bigger, I wonder?
I think, going the espionage route more so than the superhero route. For television, that might have to be the better way to go.
Yeah, because we really haven't had a very successful, at least that I can think of lately, espionage show.
Yeah.
Like a high-tech espionage, like a Bond type of a feel to things.
Exactly. You've got like a show like Covert Affairs on USA, but that's more spy versus spy, not like, I've got this cool tech versus his cool tech.
Right.
You don't have that.
Right. When you start dealing with sci-fi tech, that's when you kind of cross the line into, all right, this is something else we're dealing with. I said, that's when you jump into the James Bond territory.
which is fine by me.
You could even say that, even with X-Men and the last X-Men film they did, to me, it had a very James Bondish 60s type of feel to it. And, maybe that's something they're trying to tap into, not so much the time period, but, you're on a mission. Here's your mission and you're done and you move on to your next mission. So maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Which I like. And Clark Gregg, I liked how he handled the lead role of a leader in this.
He is so his character. In other words,
he is.
It's like you're switching the channel from Avengers to Iron Man to Thor and to this, and he is that character. He has it nailed already.
Totally. I think this will be good. This is a good role for him.
Good. Well, again, let's hope it lasts.
Yep.
I can't tell you I'm hooked, but I'm interested.
Right, exactly.
It has my attention.
I didn't hate it at all. It was solid. It was a solid first outing, and I can only commend them for that. And it did well in the ratings. I think it did like 11.4 million.
You're right. It actually did very well. People were noticing, ooh, wait a minute. This has potential.
And it won its demographic. And also they think through DVRs that the 11.4 million, it's even way more than that.
Wow. Now, do you have any idea? Is this a 22 episode or a 13 episode? Are they?
Well, since it started in September, it's probably a 22 episode show.
That would be good because I know a lot of networks, they're really getting very attracted to the cable model of the short seasons.
Of the 13 episode season.
We'll see what happens with something like this. But again, in the future, I'm looking forward to obviously more episodes, but I'm also looking forward to, throw me a cameo every now and then.
Yes, exactly.
Give me a Mark Ruffalo. You don't have to give me the Hulk, but you can give me a Bruce Banner,
he shows
flipping
up.
burgers somewhere in the background or something, coming in for a meeting, He's at an HR meeting, talking about his benefits or something.
It's just like, hey, what's going on? I'll see you guys later. And he walks away. That's it. That would be cool. that
sounds
would be
good.
Perfectly fine.
All right, well, Zeke, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
And don't be a stranger. We want to hear your opinions and obviously our listeners too. And until next time, enjoy the show. And we will see you here next time on Geekfest Rants. Bye-bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
The Battle of New York was the end of the world. This is the new world.
I am a soldier's angel through the eyes of a soldier through the...
What were you after?
The truth.
World peace.
I'm a soldier's angel.
You've got 100 men at your disposal. And now...
A hand-picked team.
In a war of words between
And yes, they're that good.
no one walks away from this battle.
Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the new TV series, premieres Tuesday, September 24th on ABC.
Stop.